Austin, Texas, home to thousands of musicians. The saying is, you can throw a rock and hit a guitar player. Welcome to Strange Brew presents WTF with your host, Scott Ward. Guests today are Grammy-winning guitarist Redd Volkaert, musician, producer, and Renaissance man Dave Wolfe, classic soul and funk musician, producer, and vocal sensation Lisa Marshall, and songwriter, guitarist, and traveling troubadour who has reached diamond status in record sales, Steve Poltz. Promotional consideration provided by Mesa Recording Studios and Scorpion Sound Design.
Redd.
What?
For those of you who don't know, that Redd played with Merle Haggard for how long?
Last night.
You just ruined my thunder. You just stole my thunder.
Yard over.
So everybody doesn't know that Redd played with Merle Haggard for how long?
I was on the road with him for about 5 years and then recorded for another couple of 3 after that.
Okay. So last night, I understand that you got a call from Merle Haggard, who was playing at the Nutty Brown Cafe, and he invited you down to play with him, and you ended up playing. I'm super excited about this. I was like, great. How long had it been since you had played with Merle prior to last night? And was it a total surprise that
oh,
he
yeah.
called you?
It was probably 12 years ago last time I played with him, live, on a live stage kind of setting. Mm-hmm. And talked to him on the phone here and there and visit, that sort of thing. I did some recording after I left the road band and for a few years. And so, yeah, he called and said, hey, we're playing Saturday. Are you in? I said, in what? He said, are you playing? I said, no, I'm off Saturday night. What time you on? He said, 9:45. I said, oh, okay, I'll come see you. He said, well, if you're going to come see me, just bring your amp with you and your guitar. I said, all right, I'll do that. So I went down there last night and jumped up, played the whole set with him, and had a blast. So it was awesome.
When you stopped playing with Merle Haggard, if I can ask, why did you stop playing with him? Is it a touring thing, or money thing, or him, or
kind of a money thing? I had a wife at the time that wanted me to work more, and he wasn't working enough. Mm-hmm. And on the road traveling, he was down quite doing just a few gigs a year, and that gig was a kind of a situation where we're on call no matter what. So I couldn't do any other kind of gigs. If I take something, sure enough, the phone would ring and I'd have to go out and do it and that. So it wasn't enough work at the time for me to keep it all going and everything. So I quit and started playing 7 nights a week, 2 shifts a day all over town, doing all kinds of stuff. And
you have a residency that you play every week. How long have you been playing that residency at the Continental Club?
My own band thing, I've been doing 15 years there. 15 years. Trying to get steady.
So what is that? Listen, there are a few.
Just so I get my mail sent there.
There are a few residencies in this town that have had that longevity. What makes a residency last 15 years?
That must be working for them, obviously.
What's it doing for you? I mean, it's what.
I'm on a Saturday afternoon. Everybody wants to get out of yard work, so they probably swing by the club, get a beer, and hey, it's noisy guitar player up there.
It's not that you sing like a canary and play guitar
like a bird,
like a fucking banshee. Like, I mean, come on. It's got something to do with you.
I don't think so myself. But
a friend of his
humility
said, well, yeah, like a friend of his said one time, he's like, yep. He pointed out to me, look at all the guitar players lined up there by Redd, taking notes. And we're just all like, I should stop playing.
Speaking of playing guitar, everybody always says, how do you do that with those fingers? You got these big
piano
fingers.
hands.
Piano hands. These are piano hands. Those are not piano hands.
Bricklayer's hands. Well, it's like some other things. You just make do with what you got.
So do you avoid like A minor? Because I know I just can't do an A minor. Or E
I
minor.
do it, but I can only...
I don't even know how to play guitar.
I can only do it with two fingers, though.
And the reason why I don't is because I can't.
I can do it, but it's only in like an E. I can only do it with 2 fingers. There's just not enough room in there.
So you've figured out a way to get around the 3-finger part. So you still play that chord?
Oh, all
2
the
fingers.
yeah. I play a few chords. Yeah.
Well, I haven't got to worry, I haven't got to care, haven't got a thing to call my own. When I'm out of money, I'm a millionaire. I still got my home in San Antone. When I greet my neighbor with a how you all, well, I'm wealthy as a king upon a throne. You can have your mansion and your cottage small. I'll just take my home in San Antone. Well, I travel all over the country and I've been on my merry way. I've been in crowds and felt I was all alone. I got a shock there. Man, it's like a buzz I didn't pay for. When I feel like bragging, I just up and I say I'm a native son of San Antone. I'll stay back here. There's a sweet somebody by the Alamo. Someday she's gonna be my very own. And we'll buy a hot chair in a year or so for our little home in San Antone. For our little home in San Antone. Thank you.
What is your take on the difference between the music scene in Los Angeles and in Austin? Like, what's different about it? Because I've heard things. I've got friends that come from LA, and they tell me different things about. But I'm interested on your take on that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of it'll be interesting from all points because one, I was in my early 20s, and I was kind of a shithead. So, and you know, I learned to be, you know, to grow up and actually get along with people better. You know, so. But to me, I find that there's a camaraderie here in Austin that doesn't really exist in LA. And not that I went out and saw a lot of live music in LA, because we really were playing and rehearsing our butts off all the time. But like, I can walk in anywhere here, see just amazing musicianship that just knocks me out, and generally know most of the musicians, and everybody's just so happy to see each other, and so kind and sweet to each other. And I didn't really experience that so much in LA. It seemed like it was always some kind of competition-based, you know, vibe where, like, you know, we were so used to doing showcasing sets that it was like, it was all you could do, like, to get your stuff off the stage without the other band, like, actually grabbing your stuff to take it off the stage. You're like, dude, slow down, man. We're getting it off. Just relax. This is a kind of a newer song. It's called Love Won't Let Me Fall.
Don't bother me for the way things used to be. In my life are surely fine. All the things I know are mine. Now I know I can let it go and just be free, oh free, oh free, oh. even when my heart was breaking. Darkness walked beside me, but love was not shaking. So I reached down to my soul. I reached down to my soul. I reached down to my soul, my soul, my soul. Hear me now, it's coming to you, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, won't let me fall. No, no. Hey. Ooh, oh, no. Oh, let me, it won't let me. It won't let me fall, no. You know that I'm singing to myself, singing to myself. Oh, it won't let me fall. And listen for holding for you, you, you.
Clearly, it would be a dumb question for me to ask Steve if his songs were personal, because I believe that most of them are personal, but I also think that you take some liberties with them and you kind of mix in some made-up stuff with them, just based on things you said to me. So what is your process of when you write a song? What is it that, I heard this theory that the geniuses like Socrates and, I don't know, inventors, they would sleep with the ball in their hand. And because the moment of it's kind of like when you have a dream and you wake up and you go, oh, that was an amazing dream, or it was horrible, but I want to understand it, and you run it through your head, and then unless you write it down throughout the day, it goes away, and you're convinced it's not going to go away. I know for me, it's just like, no, I'll remember that. Like, there's no way I'll forget that. But it seems like I forget. So there's this theory that there's that moment between sleep and consciousness that genius ideas come from. So a lot of they would sleep with a ball in their hand, and when the ball fell out, it would wake them up, and they would copy their thoughts at that moment. So is that what you do?
After all that.
Yes.
Because you are brilliant.
I like to make up songs. It's playtime to me, so I don't take it that seriously. I just like to do it, and it just comes out, and then if it makes me smile and I'm having fun with it, then my work is done. I don't like to overthink it. I like to just have it be like a game, and I like to just write down ideas, free form, and I just believe in not censoring myself at all. So I may say stuff that's really personal, that's embarrassing, and then I think I can't sing that, and then of course I'll sing it that night.
It's embarrassing, but the truth is, I know for me, it's an endearing quality. It's a beautiful thing that people are drawn to because they relate to you and they go, "Oh, Steve's poop stinks too." Like
I like stories, and I like the fact that music can just take you out of whatever situation you're in, and I'm lucky I get to do it. I'm seriously lucky. Like, I'm paid by the songs I write, and I mean paid in my heart, and it's cathartic to me, and it makes me happy, and it's my own little form of therapy. Keeps me off the streets, or keeps me on the streets, and I've done it for years, and it's basically, I've started playing guitar when I was 6 years old. I went to the Hollywood Bowl and saw this guy, Julian Bream, this classical guitarist play, and my uncle took me, and I was really lucky. I was raised with a gay Uncle Louie, who, my mom's brother, and he was a piano player, and he always had a different boyfriend who he would bring by the house, and it was always a guy who could sing show tunes. So I grew up singing the parts of Oliver, singing Fiddler on the Roof. I knew everything of cabaret. As a really young kid, I could do all of Joel Grey's parts. The whole thing, and I thought all kids did that. And it was my Uncle Louie who took me to see Sarah Vaughan Carmen McRae, Ella Fitzgerald, all at the Hollywood Bowl. He took me to every movie of Planet of the Apes as a little kid. You know, like, he was really cool, and he died last year, and I miss him, my Uncle Louie, and he taught me to sing from my diaphragm, and to this day I've always been able, I don't lose my voice. I've always sang from down here, and it's what I've always had. And I remember as a kid I had asthma, eczema, and I stuttered really bad, but when I would sing, I wouldn't stutter. And then I didn't have a lot of friends at first when I was a kid, and then it was show and tell day. I've never forgotten this. And I was in 3rd grade, and people were bringing their lizard and stuff, and I brought a guitar, and I was really nervous. And I sang Sloop John B. and One Tin Soldier from Billy Jack. And I remember I was shaking so bad, and I did those 2 songs, and that day when I went to school, I was just me. And when that ended, I was out on the playground, and there were like girls and guys all around, like, how'd you play that song? And I was like, shit, this is all you have to do? Why didn't somebody tell me that in 1st grade when I got my ass kicked? And then from that day on, I was like, this is all I'm gonna do. Like, somebody gave me their extra orange juice at lunch. And that was the first time, that was like my first Kickstarter, you know? And I said, this is all I have to do, and I'll always be taken care of. And from that day on, I always played guitar, always.
We staggered outside, 2 figures imposing, bobbing and weaving, the pubs were all closing. Stumbled upstairs as the rain started pouring. The roommate was naked and passed out and snoring. Then I believe I drunked out your number. My hand started shaking, I felt encumbered. I poured a bourbon in a tumbler with rocks. Your voice sounded just like a music box. Your voice sounded just like a music box. No pain, no gain. I drive you insane. Left in the rain. My heart is stained. Well, you yelled in my ear for me to get home, but the party was raging and I dropped the phone. We tripped outside as the sun started rising. Tried to buy more, but it was false advertising. And I believe we trolleyed to Mexico. We shot tequila, the sun was aglow. I dialed your number at the phone by the docks. Your voice sounded just like a music box. Your voice sounding just like a music box. No pain, no gain. I drive you insane. Left in the rain. Our hearts are stained. Hope we're not through. P.S. I love you. Well, we almost got locked up for public urination, but we paid off the cops right in front of the station. We sheepishly crossed the international border, and back in the States our lives were in order. Then I believe I finally came home. I said I was sorry, you you look so alone. I stripped all the way to my boxes and socks. Your voice sounded just like a music box. Your voice sounded just like a music box. No pain, no gain. You drive me insane. I am to blame. Our hearts are slain. Hope we're not through. P.S. I love you.
I moved here from Minneapolis like 11 years ago, and I kind of came here to sort of find myself in a way. The musicians were like, hey, you should come here, you know what I mean? Because it was so hard doing the roots scene in Minneapolis because I was pulling people to the shows, you know what I mean? And then here, it's like, well, they're a part of it. Any place you walk in, you know? And, you know, first time I went to Continental Club and Redd's playing and whatever, you know, and there's no cover and people play for tips. It's like, this is amazing. So I was,
Really?
yeah, I was
playing for tips. That's not. I don't think that's amazing. It's just.
Well, I mean, it was amazing that people with that were my heroes were playing for tips, and you know, I mean, I think they got paid. I mean, I was asked, you know, like, well, you get paid enough for tips? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I think people are honest here, and when they're traveling through, they want to give back to the community. Well, I've been waiting all winter long, waiting for the birds to call. It's true, you know I'm true. Well, I've been waiting all night long, waiting for my love to come. It's you, God damn, it's you. That Texas day, the birds went away, 1,000 shades of gray. One more song to bury along with you, with only you. Oh, I wish to sail back shore, I just can't swim no more. Her brown eyes can hypnotize me through. She knows it's true. Can I play no? Can I say so? I will never be ashamed. It's true. You know I'm through. Nothing more for me to say. No, I guess I'll just turn away from you.
lovely you.
So, how long have you been in Austin, Redd? And why? How'd you get here?
Nashville brought me here. I've been here almost 16 years.
Why? I mean, how did you come from Nashville to Austin? What made
Well, I was
you come
in
to Austin?
Nashville and doing the thing there, and I was there 11 years, and I got to play with lots of different folks and do all kinds of stuff. And just for me being an old guy, the scene there is turning and changing and getting more modern and more young folks in it and all of that. So with that comes 20-year-old pop music leaking into the milk there and changed the whole deal. So I'd been coming to Austin a bunch to record different things and showcases and whatever, and I always liked it here because it seemed like there was more camaraderie, more old school country music and fans for that kind of music, and Western swing still has somewhat of a grab on it, I guess, somewhat, where out there it's not. It's becoming more and more Disney-like to me in Nashville. So I guess Nashville music is what brought me here.
They call it Nash Vegas, don't they? People out there call it Nash Vegas.
Oh, it was Nashville.
I hear, the things that I hear about Nashville is that they're far more serious when it comes to songwriting than they are in Austin.
Well, you wouldn't know that by listening to the radio.
Well, I don't know enough about it to be able to argue.
All you need to know is beer, pickup trucks, and skinny girls.
I'm sure.
I'm
sure. No, we're talking about a commercial sense, and it's like that everywhere.
too.
Is that? So, no, I know, but that's what you're talking about. I'm talking about just in general. It's like if you go to Nashville, there's this expectation that like proper songwriting structure, chord structure, like that you have your shit together, basically. As to where Austin is just kind of like, it's all good.
Yeah, here there's a lot more, I think, of that. Oh, you play?
Yeah.
Well, get your guitar, let's play.
It's funny because I've had
more of
friends
that.
from LA tell me I have one friend that left Austin because she felt like, now it might have been the genre of music that she played that just wasn't a great fit here, but she felt like it was cliquey here. That was her word. She's like, it's really cliquey here. It's like they just don't embrace me and they just don't include me and I would say that, well, maybe that's her thing, her problem, but I've heard it from more than one person.
Oh, I think maybe not knowing them or anything, but
Right.
maybe the world didn't fall at their feet in a week,
Right.
so they went, it sucks, I'm going home.
That's true. That's true. Like I said, that's why they could be her thing. It could
starts
be
in the
something about
classroom,
her,
I believe,
sure.
that kind of problem. Or at the Ball Diamond, hey, don't put my kid on the bench,
You're kind of the new kid on the block.
The new what?
New kid on the block, because Steve doesn't count, because he doesn't live here, but everybody else lives here.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I think people definitely congregate depending on the genre of music. Definitely there's, well, if you do more R&B and soul stuff, you're going to find those people and you're going to hang out more and you're going to find each other to play together. And, I think that's, maybe that can be kind of perceived as cliquish, but I think it just kind of makes sense.
So let's get down to this business here, Steve. You dated Jewel, right? I'm just asking because I was born on May 25th, and her birthday is May 23rd. So we're both Geminis. We're both incredibly handsome and good looking. And I thought maybe you might hook me up because I think she and I would be a great fit. She's married, right? Or you're still dating her?
No,
I'm sorry.
she's not married anymore.
Okay.
They got divorced.
So you did? No, seriously though, like you're, I mean that's a, you wrote that song, You Were Meant for Me and I Was Meant for You.
We wrote a bunch of songs together. It's if you're going out with somebody and you just kind of wake up in the morning, you grab a guitar and you start writing songs. It's always fun if you date somebody who plays music, I think at least. And I always like to sleep with the guitar right next to the bed. So that was when I start strumming the guitar, and we would write we wrote heaps of songs together. And so I was in a band called the Rugburns, and then she said, how can I get a following like you guys? And I said, you should find your own little coffee house, like a place maybe how this is today, and make it your own and play there just once a week, but develop this following. And after we go surfing, you could hand out flyers, tell people you're playing. And so she did that. And then that went on for like a year, and the crowd started growing. And it was a really cool scene because she would come in and just like recite poetry and wear lederhosen one night. The next night, we would go shopping at some strange thrift store. It was pretty organic how it all happened. But then all these limousines started pulling up. And it was when they were still doing record deals, and like Tommy Mottola was showing up and buying her guitar, and Danny Goldberg from Atlantic, and there was this bidding war. And it was funny because limousines would pull up to this tiny little coffee house called the Interchange Coffee House. So she ended up getting a big record deal, and we recorded that first record of hers. We got to live at Neil Young's ranch because he was a fan, and so he said, let Ben Keith produce it. And Ben Keith was in the Stray Gators, rest in peace, Ben Keith. So we got to live there, and Ben was the producer, and then he let me play guitar on the stuff with the Stray Gators were the band. And so the biggest thrill for me was I got to meet the drummer who's now deceased, but his name's Kenneth Buttrey. And the reason not only was he a great drummer, but he did the intro to Bob Dylan's Rainy Day Women, number 12 and 38. So he did I said, when I met him, I said, will you please do that drum intro? And he goes, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da, or Everybody Must Get Stoned. And so that was kind of neat. And so, but the thing with Jewel really was pretty organic because she really was living in her van, and then was writing all those songs. And then, but it was when record deals were still happening, and she got a big record deal. But then, what are the odds that you get a record deal and then it actually clicks too? Because for every one of those stories, something doesn't happen. So what Atlantic did was they sent her on the road, and she was on the road opening for Peter Murphy from Bauhaus. So it was like really weird, yeah. And she was coming out, and at the time, like I'm saying, it was a different Jewel back then. She was coming. No, it was. I was thinking this is gonna suck. No, and it was amazing. So she would come out, and she would just be wearing ratty old Levi's, bare feet, and just like a wife beater top. She'd spit on the ground and go, "You guys, I just want you to know." There's all these Bauhaus fans out there, and she go, "I just want you guys to know that I believe in angels, and I believe in that my dreams will come true if I ask for them to." And you're seeing these like goth dudes going, like I was expecting people to be going boo, but they'd be like crying because the way she was saying it. And it was like such an odd fit. And she would just be up there alone on the guitar. And next thing you know, he asked her to do another tour, and then she just did all these, it was just all these weird bills. But back then, it was just a little different still, and they were just trying to fit her into something. And then You Were Meant for Me clicked. And then once you go pop, you never go back to alternative. And then once it goes big pop, like Justin Bieber world, good night. It's like, because like the record sold probably 20,000 copies in a year. So normally a label's going to give up on it, but then they did You Were Meant for Me, and next thing you know, then the record sold 12 million copies. Wow. Like 12 million copies is like a lot of records, and it was, and then
you still get a check
for
that, don't you?
It's been good. It's been cool.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean,
it's not like huge anymore, but it was good in the day.
But still, to be able to walk to your mailbox and realize, you know, a little money, whether it's a lot or not, and be able to go, this is from work I did 15, 20 years ago, and it's pretty awesome. Like, you know, in my mind, there's nothing I did 15 years ago that's paying off. So.
Well, the weird thing is I didn't work any harder on that song than I have on any others, so why does that song be the one that pays your bills? Like, I don't understand. I still, to this day, I don't understand how any of this game works. And that's why I'm not
there
huge.
Goes the rest of my
there
goes the rest of my questions.
She understood how it worked, but I don't get it.
As a club owner in this town, frequently the wheels are turning my mind as to what works and what doesn't work. What is it that makes an artist popular and what doesn't? Because there's many artists that I see that come through here are phenomenal. They're amazing, phenomenal artists. And the 5 people in the crowd. And I will have done everything I possibly knew how to do to get people out. I paid money on Facebook, paid money on Twitter. They're in the paper. I made their name bold. I've gone in our newsletter that goes out to 6,000 people, and I've said, hey, this person is amazing. You must come see them. And there'll be 5 people. And the artists will have done the same things. And
I think what it is this is what I've always believed. And I think if you're good, and I know you say that you see people are good, is there a call to action? If you go see someone play, is there a call to action? Are you going to go, this is what I hope somebody's going to say after I play a show. I hope they're going to come up and say, when are you playing again? Because I'm going to bring friends. And it's really, I don't mean to use the word organic again, but I'm a true believer in it. If there's a call to action and you're doing something that's organic and it's meant to happen, then it's nothing can stop it. But there's a lot of people doing this. Like I was excited to come in here today because I was watching Friday Night Lights, the television show, and Redd was on an episode of that. And I was flying back from Australia, and I knew we were going to be doing this show, and I was like, holy crap, that's Redd. And so that was the first thing I wanted to ask him about. How did you get on that show? Because I'm kind of obsessed with that show right now, and I'm like way late to the party. But I was on the airplane crying because the episodes will make you cry. It's like, and I missed that whole game. But I think things either resonate with people, and I'll let all you guys talk after this, but I really believe, without sounding too new agey, is when you play a song, something vibrates. And if somebody in the audience is going, whoa, boom, that just hit me, nothing can stop it. And if you keep doing it and you're vibrating the right things, it's going to come out. People are going to go, man, I want to bring you to see this girl. I want to bring you to see this guy. Let's go. And then you have to stick with it, and you have to keep going. And that's what I truly believe in, because the music I like is always organic and stuff that's manufactured, like what Rhett was talking about. And even to a big extent, what happened at Jewel after that. Everything just got manufactured. And I remember Neil Young came up to me, we were at a wedding for Gary Burden, who does all the Neil Young artwork. And he said, and Neil loved Jewel, like on that first record, and he goes, I don't know what they're trying to do with her now, sell perfume or make music. Like he was really mad about things, because when you get caught up in the machine and how things go, so.
Exactly that. I think that you as a club owner, if you know or you're smart enough or get it or whatever that way, you hire somebody to do this specific job, this, you know, a great bartender, you know, whatever it is that you need. It's like your car. If you need brakes, go to a brake place. Don't go to a muffler shop for brakes. Specialized, they're going to do a better job, maybe cost a little bit more, but they're going to do a better job, better warranty, all that kind of stuff. Where somebody that just plays the guitar and does nothing else, you know, is a dumbass that plays guitar, and that's the end of it, you know. But then there's somebody else that writes songs and writes them great, but is a horrible singer. And like you were saying, that person's an entertainer. That person has all of those things. They can write, they can sing, they can play, they can run a band, they can produce their own CD or record or whatever. Just all of those elements that make that person the whole, this is Wayne Newton, you know, whatever kind of a deal. Like him or not, success is what it is, you know. So that person has a bunch of those elements that can put them together so that the gears click and make that their little machine work with another bigger one. Where lots of other people specialize in one thing, but not all the other things that it takes to make a full performer, entertainer, package, star, whatever. Club owner, same thing, you know. Department store. Clothes, tires, batteries, you know, different things. Different sections specialize and you know to go there for that kind of thing. So the same, if a person can put all of those things together, chances are they become a lot bigger, faster, and in the music thing, it seems like to me that works that way.
What is your experience in building a fan base in this town? Because you do play pretty regularly, don't you?
Yeah.
How often do you play?
I don't know, depends, 2 to 3 times a week sometimes.
So I've always had this theory, and I want you to elaborate on it, maybe if you agree or not, disagree. But I've always said in the beginning, you should play as much as you possibly can. And then once you have created a scene or a fan base, that you should taper off of that and play less and leave them wanting. So when you do play, now some musicians, Dale Watson, can't do that. Like they have to play every day. Like they just have this thing that just goes, if I don't play right now, I'm gonna go out and shoot 5 people. Like, you know, so some artists, they just wanna play all the time. It's just it's a drive in them, it's their drug, whatever you wanna call it. And I understand that need. And so
for drugs or play.
So when you say you played 3 times a week and you've been here 6 years, I'm going, well, what are you, do you agree with that? Are you still building your audience?
Well, I mean, I don't always, you know, 3 times a week is kind of, I mean, that happens in spurts. Sometimes I'll go without playing at all. We do a Monday night at Residency.
Where?
121 Bar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so it's been, I just have taken a lot easier approach to music these days. It's not that I'm not trying to get people to come to the shows or things like that, but I don't know, to me music is so much more than trying to figure that stuff out all the time, because I can get wrapped up in that and be nothing but about that. But I have to remember the reason why I do music is because it feeds my soul, because there's nothing else more than that for me. It's just pure love, it's joy, it's happiness, it's where I belong. I feel like a fish in water. And so I can't always kind of think on the flip side of that stuff, because quite honestly, sometimes it's fucking frustrating to think about that shit.
Trust me, I know.
You know, how much should I play? How much shouldn't I play? I'm at the point where I'm like, fuck it, feels good, do it. And that's what I do.
Back round, hold your tongue, your judgment's down. If I'm leaving, lift me up. Got my voice, gonna raise it up. Ooh, oh yeah, gonna raise it up. Now I'm gonna raise it up. Well, I'm going down this time, and I'm gonna find out when it up inside. Build that bitch, you can't build my soul. Got no shame for me in my heart. Oh yeah, in my heart. You got to love somebody else. No one gets out of line, honey. No, no, no. Erase from your mind all the bad that's been done to you, all the good things you are. You better let it shine. Here's my silver, my love is gone. Got no time for the lies been sown. Heal my skin, let it show is mine. Set my ground by drinking time. Oh yeah, my drinking time. You have to love somebody else. No one gets out of life. Oh no. Oh no, no, they don't. Oh no. Erase from your mind all the bad that's been done to you, all the good things you are. You better let it shine. My skin, it sure is fine. Got no time for the lies that's telling me, but I got one question. I said I really want to know. I said I I got one question, hey, I really wanna know. Hey, hey, say, what's my height? You know I really got no time for that dancing, selling beat. Erase on your mind all the bad that's been done to you. All the good things you want, you better decide. Drink it up, raise it up. Yeah, my boy's gonna raise it up. Drink it up, raise it up. Yeah, my boy's gonna raise it up. Oh no, raise it up. Yeah, raise. Oh no, raise it up. Yeah, raise it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So you obviously like the fact that we have a silent sign back there and we enforce the silence policy when it's appropriate. Not all shows are silent here. But you're uncomfortable with that, and I've heard that before. Like you.
No, it's not that I'm uncomfortable. It's just that I am my brain and my mouth are connected, and I can't stop it. You know what I mean? I just like, if I like something, if I see something, I'm gonna say to the guy, "Hey, isn't this fucking great?" You know, I just can't stop that. I need to like.
So you're talking about as an audience member.
As an audience member, yeah. No. As far as me playing, no, it's great. It's unnerving
we've never booted anybody for leaning over and saying, "Hey, isn't this great?"
Yeah, I know.
But
well,
it's when it goes, "Hey,
depends on how many beers they give
By
me.
the way, my boss is an asshole, and let's have a big long conversation."
No, I mean
about
obviously that's why you guys got voted best new, venue because you're actually because there's this is great, and I've played. Prairie Home Companions and stuff like that. And it's just it's amazing that you can be in a theater and everybody's actually watching you and listening to you. I've seen Redd play Prairie Home Companions as well, and it's crazy. Then you really get to think, because I'm from the rock and roll end of it, where it's just it gets louder and nastier, and everybody is yelling and screaming. And so the idea of like that actually people are listening to you is kind of unnerving. Like you said, if you are bearing your soul, that it's like, oh shit, they actually can hear what I'm saying.
Yeah. Are your songs a personal experience in your life?
Yeah, they all are, and I think it's just like no matter what, if somebody says like no, it's not. This is a fictional thing. You can't help but draw from experience. So it's like a painter. And you see all these paintings all the time. It's like they're painting themselves. And because you can't help that, I like to try to get away from the main basis that rules us all, the love songs, what I mean, but that always drives you back to, what we all strive for is to be wanted, to be loved, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I like funny songs too. Everything I do is tongue in cheek, and at least it's funny to me.
Do you think you could write a song that you wrote in a fictional way?
Yeah, I've actually been trying to do that recently, and I've been trying to write more, just writing like stories and stuff too. So just I don't know. I came here to do that and found myself doing a lot of other things here, making instruments, starting a sound stage, finding my place in Austin. And now that I really feel that I found my place in Austin, now I want to, like I've done the opposite. Like I've not played it all, and then all of a sudden hopefully I'm going to play quite often. So
I'll book you.
Cool. In April when your barge sailed through, I fell in love with you. Lost my paranoia like stranger to me till the test comes back. The microorganism, the microorganism. Dive in the gene pool, down you swim, down to where the light grows dim. Flail little fishies, flail if you can, board the microorganism man. The microorganism, the microorganism. Caffeine, sugar, and THC, all the doctors are gonna find in me when they do the autopsy. Microorganism won't get me. The microorganism, the microorganism. God is good, God is great, God's a big invertebrate. God made the river change his route, he won't take the microorganism out. The microorganism, the microorganism. Cowsills bloom and the bluebells too. Here's the advice I'll give to you. Rattle your sword before you strike, and never kiss anyone you like. The microorganism, the microorganism, the microorganism, the microorganism.
Thank you, Minions.
When I moved here, I couldn't find a gig with anybody because all the, speaking of kind of cliquey, I thought at the time.
Sure.
When I came to town, I was looking around. I went to all these clubs and thought, oh, I got to canvas me some work. And so I went around with a bunch of business cards, and I went to all the guitar players and give them my card. And, you know, some of them I watched them go, oh, thanks. You know, not going to call me.
That's what I do with them. I'm just
So,
kidding.
yeah.
I've never met a guitar player with a business card, ever.
I still got some if you want them. But anyway, I went around town and I tried canvassing for a bunch of work, you know. And so I went to the band leaders too and say, well, if you ever need a substitute fill-in guitar player, I just moved to town and I'm begging for work. Well, I got this guy I've had for 12 years and he never takes off, but when he does, I use the guy I had before him who was with me for another 10. No offense, why should I use you? And I got that from about 3 or 4 band leaders. Sure. And I was like, that's great that they're all loyal and all that, but what about me? You know, kind of thing.
Did you think you're better? I would have said, well, I'm better. That's why you should use me. No.
Nah, it don't matter a shit.
That's
to
why.
anybody. Not to the dancers. They
That's
don't
what I
care
mean
how
by
good
the
you
nice
play.
guy.
Nah, it's, to me,
It's
it's
got class.
Nah, it's whatever. But so I thought at that point, I thought, okay, I can't find any gigs as all the jobs are taken by loyal guys that stay on the job and that. So I guess I'm going to have to start my own band. So I think, oh man, I'm going to need to find me a good singer that's going to play the kind of songs that I want, just maybe sing the turnarounds, and I'll play the rest of the song instrumental and have fun playing. Or have him sing a verse, and then I'll get to play 20 verses, and then he'll sing an ending, and we're done. I couldn't find a singer that would do that, that would just sing little bits of stuff that I wanted. And most of them didn't sing in tune if they wrote their own stuff, I found, it seemed to me. And it just was kind of like, nah, it's all about the song and the lyrics. There's no picking in that. What fun would I have with that person? I thought, shit, I'm going to have to do it myself. So I started singing myself and got a couple little gigs around town, and then run into Steve at the Continental. And he says, hey, you ever think about doing a regular sit-down gig? You know, I said, yeah, I think about it all the time. You know? He said, well, you want to do something here? And I said, yeah, sure. I said, but I don't know anybody, don't have a following. Hell, I don't even have a band, a regular band. I'm just using pickup guys. He said, oh, that's fine. Let's give it a shot. Lucky for me, he was that kind of a fella, you know. So, and there, you know, so all of a sudden I had a steady Saturday, and I started with that, and you know, but luckily I guess I haven't pissed too many guys off. I got the same drummer for 15 years, and the same bass player for 8, and the same piano player for 7, and you know, on and on.
Is that Rich Harney?
Yeah, Rich.
Yeah, amazing.
So yeah, those guys, you know, I guess they're probably a little dumb, but they, you know, they're still around, hanging around, kind of thing, you know. So
yeah, you just said something I would say.
It's all good, you know.
Like I said, I'm a guitar player, not a songwriter, so I write instrumentals because my wife says they're better than my lyrics, and so maybe I'll do a little instrumental for you. Thank you.
So, you know, Steve had a stroke on stage a year ago. And and I know all about it because when he played last night in one of his songs, he talked about the experience. I don't know how much he embellished or how much he made up because now I can't trust him. And I thought to myself, damn, I was going to ask him this. I didn't know he was going to tell everybody in the audience this whole thing. And now what am I going to ask him? So we'll have to tone it, because it's about a 15-minute long story. Can you make it 5? No, I'm just kidding. But so you had a stroke on stage?
Well, it was a year ago. Yeah, a year ago. And I was playing in Wilmington, Delaware at the World Cafe Live. And I think that's why I still look around. So I seriously feel like since it's happened, I'm stoned all the time. Even though I'm coming up on 11 years sobriety, I feel like I'm stoned. But I was playing, and then I went blind, and I just couldn't see. And I didn't know why I couldn't see, and then I could almost kind of see through my left eye. And then I was really confused, and I did the second verse of a song 5 times in a row. And I didn't know why the audience was laughing, but they were laughing because they thought I was taking the piss out of them, kind of in an Andy Kaufman-esque kind of way, like, you know, seeing if they would notice that I was doing the same verse 5 times in a row. And then my vision came back, and then it went away again, and then I was going to faint. And then there was a couple friends of mine from New Jersey, yay, who said, you're not going to drive your rental car, and they drove me to Princeton University Medical Center, and I went in and
the mafia lady.
Yeah, the mafia lady. And I had to cancel all these shows, and I was in the hospital, and then my vision came back, and then I was just like kind of in a daze. I was tripped out, and then I got out of the hospital and I canceled months of shows, and now I'm back on the road, and it's like I'm happy to be alive. I almost feel like I'm on bonus time, so that's why when I even play last night or something, I just I don't get nervous at all.
Your family has a history. Is that part of the
yeah, my uncle died of a stroke. My other uncle died of a stroke. Both my mom's parents did in their 50s, and then her older sister had one, and it's like, so I don't know, I just feel grateful to be alive. So when I play, I'm just want to let it fly.
I can only believe again if you take me away to Lake Michigan and I end up on a trip again. And I hope I don't get sick again. And I'd love to take that trip, but I never really believe I can, 'cause of all the troubles in the world that make me lose my tan. And I am just a frozen man floating in a frozen can, and the news is full of lots of sleaze. Makes me panic till I wheeze, and I can always walk away. I can leave as early as today, 'cause I got cards right up my sleeve, and I can be your best friend that you call up. When you're angry you say, Steve, 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 Steve. On the TV they were yelling and the candidates weren't gelling. One was more religious than the other more religious. One who was yelling about the Bible, and the NRA was up in arms screaming that the people need more places, that they can buy more guns, 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 guns. There were weddings that were happening that were never gonna be catered by shitty pizza parlors defending their right to not serve pizza to people of the same sex that maybe want to marry and have the right to get divorced like heteros named Chip and Larry, 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 Larry. On the computer there were videos, too many to mention, of cops shooting black men surrounded by henchmen. And the videos were viral, spreading hate to sandwich in between more hate and people taken to the streets to scream about their fate. You could be shot for being black and just for walking down the street. Maybe going to your parents after eating Skittles with some friends you meet, and a guy pulls up beside you in your hoodie and he's gonna stand his ground, and everyone around is holding lots and lots and lots of guns, 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 guns. And there were Christians fighting Muslims and Muslims fighting Jews and Hindus, people getting bombed in offices and marathons, and someone got their feelings hurt because their God was mocked and goaded. Religion reared its ugly head, all the guns are cocked and loaded, 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 loaded. And torture became legal, there were pictures there to prove it. Waterboarding people hanging upside down with loud rock music always playing, in armies upon armies shooting up each other underneath the darkened skies. Time to duck and cover from the drones, 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 drones. And everyone's been wiretapped, we're whispering till our lips get chapped. The NSA knows everything, I can only stand and sing. I'm probably being watched right now for singing everything I see. I'm wondering if we're really free, the tail is wagging the doggy. But I could sing my songs for you until my face turns black and blue. Look up at the sky above and try to spread some peace and love. Try to stop the push and shove with lots and lots and lots of songs of love, love, dove, dove, love. And I can only believe again if you take me away to Lake Michigan and I end up on a trip again. And I hope I get to Michigan, and I'd love to take that trip with you. But there's nothing more I'd love to do than shut out all the world and sleep beside a fireplace and be alone with you.
Thanks a lot.
I want to thank all of you for being here and participating in this and sticking around and hanging out. All of our guests, Steve Poltz, Dave Wolfe, Lisa Marshall, Redd Volkaert.
Thank you.
Thank you.